Hello and welcome to SharpHR Career Corner with Karen Sharp Price. This podcast will inform and inspire you in your quest to find the right career path. If you're just starting out, looking to make a change in your field, or transitioning into a new career, then this podcast is for you. We will be sharing tips and providing resources on topics such as writing resumes, interviewing, using LinkedIn, and networking. We will take a look at different careers, companies, and opportunities. You will hear success stories from professionals in all career paths, and so much more. You will leave this podcast with 3 key takeaways that you can easily put into practice. Enjoy!
Hi everyone, this is Karen Sharp Price, and I thank you for listening to this episode of SharpHR Career Corner podcast. I really appreciate it. With the great resignation happening as we speak, candidates want to learn more about companies. So, SharpHR Career Corner is talking to local companies to learn more about what they do and what types of opportunities that they might have available. We have a returning guest with us today. You may remember her speaking to us about Resurgence Brewery. Jennifer Hasse today is speaking to us about her regular job at JM Smucker's company in Buffalo, New York. Hi, Jennifer. How are you doing?
Hi. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming back.
Glad to be back.
I would like to start to talk to you. So does the company go by the JM Smucker's company? Let's start with that. Is that the short version, the long version? How do I go about it?
Yeah, it's the JM Smucker Company.
Okay. So can you talk to us a little bit, for those that may be listening and they're not from our area or from an area where there might be a headquarters, tell us, what do you do and how big of a company, where is it located, all those kinds of fun things.
Sure, of course. So we have manufacturing facilities and offices all across the country, even some operations out of Canada. We have over 7,000 employees. So I'm out of our Buffalo, New York plant. We're the only plant in New York. And we, have operations for all sorts of brands, a lot of brands that you may have heard of or might not have heard of. But that's us in a nutshell. And the headquarters is out of Orville, Ohio.
Okay. And what kind of brands, would we know about or maybe not know about that we want to start learning about?
Sure. Well, the first question I always get is, when I say I work for JM Smucker, they're like, the jelly? Yes, the jelly. But our plant in Buffalo actually doesn't make jelly. We make Milk-Bone.
Okay.
So Milk-Bone is one of the brands of Smucker, and obviously the jelly. We also have a whole pet division that makes all sorts of brands, like sausages and pepperoni, the Rachel Ray products.
Really?
Various pet product entities, Meow Mix.
Oh my gosh.
And then on the, other consumer goods sides with regards to Dunkin' Donuts, K-Cups, Folgers coffee.
Wow.
So yeah, Jif.
Wow.
That's, yeah. There's quite a bit.
Yeah, there is. And a lot of those things are in my house right now. And my dog really appreciates the Milk-Bones. The small ones, even though she's a big dog, she has to eat the small ones because otherwise she'd be very large.
Well, they come small, medium, and large for a reason, so you can pick which ones you want. But my dog definitely approves of my career choice.
Yeah, is there any perks in there for your dog?
Absolutely, there are company discounts.
That's great. So tell us, what kind of positions do you have across the board? What would we find if we were looking at your website?
Well, if you're looking at the company as a whole, obviously there are various positions when it comes to even the corporate office. If you're talking about marketing or finance, or if you're talking about a plant and having production, engineering, there's obviously an IT department. There's sales. If there's a plethora of, positions that you would see across a company, especially one of our size. So whether you're talking about something that's headquarters, from a corporate headquarters standpoint, or from a manufacturing plant standpoint, or a sales office. So there's all of those types of positions. Specifically at our plant, we are a facility that has all of our operations personnel, technicians, we have maintenance department, engineers, electricians, all of our office personnel, administrative staff.
Wow. How many employees do you have locally?
So locally, we are creeping up to about 300 almost. So we're in the high 200s,
That's a lot.
presently hiring. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. So tell us, as an assistant HR manager, what do you do?
So, I do all the things HR really. We do everything really at the plant level. So we have an HR department of 5 right now, including payroll, a scheduling and HR assistant, recruiter, and then 2 managers, one being myself. So, all the things from benefits, open enrollment to employee relations, investigations, interviews, training and development, everything really that encompasses within human resources, policy implementation.
My hat's off to you, because one, just getting through COVID in an HR department had to have been like ready to pull your hair out.
Yes, kudos to, obviously everybody working through COVID, but from an HR standpoint, navigating through all those changes in regs and just the endless questions that not only did we have as HR professionals, but then the staff are coming to HR with the questions that we're supposed to have the answers for.
Right.
That's definitely difficult. And I started this job back in May of this year, of 2021.
Oh, okay.
And I'd have to say one of the most difficult parts of starting a job in a pandemic is everyone's wearing masks. And I don't know how the staff are. And I said, okay, I can't see your whole face.
Yeah, that would be very difficult. I remember when I was an HR manager, we would, on like an onboarding process, we would send the new person pictures of everybody with their name and their title and their phone number and email, just to let them know, how to reach them. But from this standpoint, from COVID standpoint, that would be very hard, because even if you saw the picture, you might not even put the picture to the face when you see them under a mask.
Exactly. We have an ATS system, an HR system that we see pictures, and we have pictures in there, but it's just, a couple hundred staff. It's just not the same. And, we run on 3 shifts, so I try to get to other shifts at least to walk around, say hello.
Yeah.
And those folks are wearing masks as they're working. So I'm like, who are you?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that would be a challenge that you wouldn't even think about. You think about all the rules and regulations and the changing of those rules and regulations on a daily basis.
Yeah.
at times. And so you don't even think about the little things that really are a big thing. So if I was a candidate and I was coming in for an interview and I were going to ask you some of these questions, how would you answer them? What is the best part of working there?
Well, thus far, everything has been very welcoming. There are just diehard Milkbone, employees here that have just a lot of pride, loyalty, a lot of tenure, a lot of experience and knowledge from the tenured staff that are here, and they're willing to share it. So I think that is, one of the greatest parts about working here. We've been in Buffalo since 1957, moved from New York City, actually, where the Milkbone biscuit was created. And they moved their operations from New York City to Buffalo, and we've been making Milkbone ever since. So even though we've had a few different companies that we've been owned by, we've always made Milkbone. So we're kind of known as the Milkbone plant around the area, because that's all we've made, even though we've been owned by different parent companies.
That's pretty cool history.
Yeah. And the company itself, I would also say, Smucker is invested in their employees. They have great benefits, and they're very employee centered. They understand what the employees are doing on the ground to get the products out the door.
That's really nice to hear. What would the culture be like if I was walking around there? What would I see?
Dedicated staff, hardworking staff, like I mentioned, pride and loyalty. The staff actually, a couple of years ago, they came up with this kind of plant mantra called WOOF. And it stands for "We Own Our Future." Kind of like, your future and your career is what you make of it.
That's very clever.
Yeah.
We should see more of that out there on LinkedIn. That's very, very clever. So where do you see the company in like 5 years? Where do you think you're headed?
I mean, from my standpoint in the hierarchy, I'm not really sure, where Smucker as a whole will land. However, the plant itself here, we are in process of actually expanding and reinvigorating a whole part of the building that hasn't been in use in many, many years. And we're
Oh,
putting a new packaging line. So Smucker is investing, in our company and in the people here. So that's really kind of why we're hiring right now. Um, we don't have a lot of turnover, which is wonderful,
yeah,
and
that's
a little bit
nice.
easier on HR's plate. But
Yeah, a lot easier.
right, but we are doing an influx of hiring because of adding those operations.
Okay. So what's one thing that not too many people might know about the company?
Well, what's funny is, I mean, I've lived in Buffalo all my life, and I live right in the city, and I didn't even know that this plant was here. So that's really kind of one of the biggest things around here locally.
Yeah.
People don't know we're here. And I think the statistic is something like 90% of the milk-bone products that you see out on the shelves are made in Buffalo. And you can
Oh,
actually see it right on the box. It says that where it's made, it'll say made in Buffalo, New York. And I just literally yesterday was talking to someone and they said, wait a minute, I have those at home. I have to go take a look at the
yeah.
box.
I'm gonna have to go
Um,
look. It's up on top of my refrigerator.
yeah, there are two other plants in the country that do make some milk bone products, but they also make other products too. We make strictly all milk bone here, um, and it's just
Huh.
surprising, I think, to a lot of people that they don't realize that
Yeah.
it's made in Buffalo,
Yeah.
and it has
So
been since the 50s.
what's nice about that is for the people that are listening and they're from Buffalo and have dogs and buy Milkbone, there won't be a supply chain shortage.
Right?
And in fact, I mean, my sister doesn't live that far. She lives in Lewiston, but she just asked me to buy the big box for her dog.
The bulk
So I've got
ones.
one that I've got ready to give to her the next time I see her. So
Yes. A lot of men and women working very hard to produce milk bone treats for our dogs.
we appreciate that very much. So you were talking about how you have an influx of positions right now. What types of openings do you have currently?
So primarily operating technicians, okay, that will be working in various operational departments in our bakery, and also in our maintenance side, we have maintenance mechanics, like industrial maintenance mechanics, electricians. Those are primarily the positions that we're hiring for right now.
Okay. And
Yeah.
what kind of like past experience does someone need to have for either one of those jobs?
Well, from an operations standpoint for the technicians, if you're operating, one of our lines, we have like a bake shop where everything's, ingredients are put together and baked.
I would
And
love that job.
yeah. Packaging department, and then like our transfer department is basically everything that comes in and out of the building. So those are all of, and then a sanitation department. So we have all these departments that fall under what we call operations. And really, we prefer to someone to have manufacturing background, but it's not a requirement. So really, we want someone that's understanding of the elements of the job, that they will be on their feet all day.
Mm.
Our plan is very interesting. It's vertical, so we have 7 floors. So everything kind of starts at the top and then
Oh,
comes
that's
down
cool.
to get shipped.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think people just understanding the manufacturing world and just manufacturing schedules and environment and what to kind of expect is very helpful. But if you're willing to learn and you are willing to train and work the shifts, we're willing to entertain. Now, when it comes more so to the mechanics, electricians, you do have to have some of that background.
Okay. And then besides the technical part of those positions, what makes a great candidate for Smuckers?
Definitely, I mean, strong work ethic. Like I said, everyone that's been here has a lot of pride, and they have been here for a long time. So they've been doing this job for a long time. They want people that are coming in with the same type of work ethic that they have, being supportive, being welcoming, being open and willing to train. We have lots of cross training in our facility. So it doesn't matter what department you're in, you have to be willing to be part of the team to go to whatever department is asked of you. When we train, we have a very comprehensive 7-week training program at minimum for new hires. Yep. They go through full training and orientation and training for 7 weeks, and so that they can become acclimated to the job. So that's another reason why we can take on people that might have limited to no manufacturing experience because of such a robust training program. And then they have to be willing to move around to different departments. And, especially we are a union environment. So a lot of the first shift people are people that hold the bids to those shifts. So you have to be willing, flexible to work second and third. So sometimes that's challenging for people. And, I can totally understand that. But once they gain the seniority, they could get to first also. But, that's sometimes people like it and sometimes people don't. And we completely understand.
Right. So where's the best place to find these opportunities? Where can someone go to learn more about them? And then how do they go ahead and apply?
Sure. Easiest way, if you're looking, go to milkbonebuffalo.com. Okay, so we have our own website, milkbonebuffalo.com, that identifies the technician role because that is the largest need. But you can also go to jmsmucker.com/careers.
Okay.
And that will have all of our careers for all of the JM Smucker plants. And that is something too that Smucker is very encouraging with when it comes to employees that might want movement. If you don't have to move and go anywhere else, but if you're interested in other opportunities in other areas, career growth and career potential, they're very encouraging when it comes to that for the staff. But I would advise people not to wait, especially because right now I am hiring for orientations into February.
Oh my goodness.
Because my January orientations are filled.
Wow.
So that's what I would say is not to wait. We're pretty fortunate to be a leader in the market here, and people want to work here, which is wonderful. Sure so is. That would be my advice to anybody's interested. Don't wait.
That's really interesting because I saw something on LinkedIn the other day about should candidates wait until the new year before they start to look for jobs? And you're telling me straight out, no.
For us, no. Yeah. I mean, you might want to wait until you give your notice. But
that's super. I mean, that's really positive, and that's great for those that are looking to make a move before the holidays. Get settled before the holidays. Yeah, that's great.
This gift can be a new job with
Hey, that's a huge benefit. So that would be great. So I always ask my guests at the end of the interview to give us 3 pieces of advice. What 3 pieces of advice would you give a candidate that is planning on applying to JM Smucker's company?
Well, I guess don't wait would be the first piece of advice.
That's a good piece.
Go apply. That would be the first thing. The second thing is I would say, being open to everything that, basically we have to offer and everything that we have to train on. Even if you, like I said, don't have manufacturing experience, if this is up your alley, great. We have, we get back to candidates very, very quickly. We give a very thorough description of what to expect, the hours, expectations for your shifts, how that kind of thing works with regards to the union. So, if you're open and willing, we definitely will train you. So that would be another piece. And then, I know it sounds a little cliche, but I was thinking about this and I said, team player, because all of our departments rely on one another so much. And I know that that's very much to be said in a lot of other places, but we were open through the entire pandemic. We were considered essential workers. We can't work from home to make the biscuits. They have to be.
And that is essential for all of our dogs sitting at home right now.
My dog would say it's essential. I need treats. But yeah, one process in the chain relies on, the person before it and the person after it. So, team player and communication is really some of the key skills that I would say that someone needs to have.
Okay. Do you ever give tours of the manufacturing? I think it's really cool to say it's 7 floors and you start at the top and it moves down. I just want to see that process.
I know. Well, if you apply, you usually get a tour. Due to COVID, we really have been limiting the visitors, to the plant. I really hope that we can get to a point where, whether we can bring students in or other visitors, I know that we have programs in place with regards to, proprietary information and confidentiality practices, but there are certain things that we could show. But it would be nice to get back to that kind of thing, especially if you have students or people in school or people in technical schools and such that want to actually take a look at a plant and actually see it firsthand.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's helpful. That's very helpful for them.
Yeah, and I'm envisioning what it looks like. So, well, thank you so much for coming on again today. I really appreciate that. This was fun, and I got to learn something that I had no idea. And it really sounds like a fun company. A company that has stand the width of time, from 1957, you said on. That's a really long time. So you're stable, you're secure, you've been in Buffalo, and your employees must love it if they've been there that long. Like, employees don't stay if they don't like it. So that's very kudos to you. Yeah, kudos to you. So thank you, and happy holidays to you and your family.
Oh, and to all your listeners.
It's coming fast. I always think I have plenty of time, and then I have like only a couple weeks, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to get all my cookies made? So, well, thank you again, and thank you everyone for listening to SharpHR Career Corner. If you're having a hard time trying to figure out what you want to do in a career and you need to talk with someone, please contact Sharp Human Resources. We'd love to help you out. Go to sharphumanresources-buffalo.com for more information. If you enjoy listening to our podcast, I encourage you to download the podcast, leave a comment, and share with others you know. We recently achieved over 1,000 downloads, which we're so excited about, and thank you. The more downloads and comments and likes our podcast receives, the better our ratings and the easier we can be found. So thank you in advance. Until next time, be kind, everyone. We need to show a lot more kindness in the world, and it starts with you and I. Thanks again for listening, and have a great day.